Hi, I'm Dana Obleman. This video is for my free sleep course for babies 4 to 6 months right here on YouTube. If you feel like you could use more guidance, then check out Sleep Sense Plus. The link is in the description below.
Hi, good morning, maybe, question mark. I hope you've got your coffee ready because we're going to talk about how night one went. You made it through, that's the good news, and maybe it wasn't even as bad as you thought. I love when that happens. I always tell people, hey, prepare yourself for the worst, and then anything short of that, you'll feel relieved. So it might have been a little easier than you thought, and maybe it was much harder than you thought, and that's okay too. Babies are all different, unique, and special, and they're going to react to this in their own way. And that's their prerogative, right? They have the right to respond to this however they choose. We're going to keep going regardless, however, because we are trying to teach an important skill. Let's just pause to remind ourselves of that point. Okay? Now, I want you to think back on the night, and I definitely want you to congratulate yourself on making it through, on the times it went fairly well. It's very important that we highlight success. We celebrate every little improvement along the way because it's easy to kind of start focusing on what's not working and remind ourselves what is and how it went and what we can celebrate every step of the way. So think about what was helping. Was it helping to touch her? Was it helping to say your key phrase? Did it help at all to pick her up? Should you do that? Shouldn't you? Talk about it with your partner so that you're both on the same page. What worked for him or her? What's working for you? Did you offer the feed or didn't you? If you offered the feed, now's the time to pause and think it through. Do we want to offer a feed? Again, like I said, it's okay if you do. There's no shame in that, absolutely at all. If you want to keep a feed in, let's plan for it. Right? Just going back to our previous video, talking it through about picking a time frame, still waiting, going in, keeping baby awake through the feed, and then back to the crib. So if you want to go forward by keeping that in and monitoring its progress, or maybe you've decided, you know what, I had a moment, I caved, but I'm not going to cave tonight. I'm going to go forward with no feed. So we're making a recommitment to the no feed. So let's talk about today's naps. All right, so going into naps. Naps, I will warn you, naps can be the biggest pain point of the whole program. Naps can be the biggest frustration you'll have as you go through this program. And I think there's a few reasons. I think melatonin's not on our side because it's not nighttime. It's light outside, that's against us. And also daytime is fun, right? That's when they're having all the great times with you. They don't really want to take a nap. In fact, I'm sure if you asked every baby, do you want to take a nap? Their answer would be no, no thank you. But we know that naps are equally important. And here's the truth about naps. Better naps equal better nights. Sleep begets sleep. Don't let anyone ever tell you that pulling naps or restricting naps will make your child sleep better and longer through the night, because it's absolutely false. That is not the case. So we are going to be as dedicated to nap training as we are tonight, because the better she does here, the better she will do there. And the good news is, once you've got predictable nap schedules in your day, you're going to love this. You will. It's like getting a little break. Everybody needs a break in their day from time to time. And if you can tell yourself, listen, I know that she's going to nap from 10 to noon and then from 3 to 4 every day, you can plan, maybe you work, you can plan your work day around that. You can maybe watch a show that you want to watch, or take your shower or bath, or do whatever else you want to do during that time. So it's great in the long run, I promise you. It can just be a little work to get there. So the first thing we want to do is look at that chart with timing, okay? If we've got a 5-month-old baby or a 6-month-old baby, they can only tolerate about 2.5 to 3 hours of time awake. And it might even be as early as 2 hours of time awake. Now we also have to remember that your baby currently has a sleep debt. She's not been sleeping as well as she should, so she's going to be a little bit sleepier, or she has to catch up a little bit on that debt. So start conservatively, because we can always add more time to this if we need to. So let's start a little on the light side for nap timing. So let's say she got up for her day at 7, she had her full feed, right? And she was happy to see you in the morning. That's often the case. We worry, oh gosh, she's not going to love you anymore. She will, I promise. So we go into our first feed of the day, right? And then we have a little activity time. And there might be solids. If your baby started solids, I'd give baby about an hour and a half after your breastfeeder bottle to offer those solids. Now we're looking at our clock and we've hit about the 2.5 hour time mark. We're going to get ready for nap 1. Take her to her nap location, which is probably her crib or bassinet, but I'm guessing that she's probably outgrown the bassinet by now, so it's better for her to be in the crib. And do a little routine before nap. Again, children in general do not do well with transitions. They don't like to be basically whisked off or demanded to drop what they're doing and rush into another thing. And so we want to give a little bit of a stage set that we're going to nap now. And that can be as simple as a diaper change and a song. We had a little nap song we sang to our daughter, and then when she could talk, she would sing the song to us or with us, and it was really a cute little ritual that we did every day. So you could do that. You could do a diaper change, a song, and a story. It could be very simple. It doesn't have to be long at all. It's just a little bit of a set the stage. I don't suggest that feeding be part of your nap routine. Again, we are trying to break a feed-sleep association. So we want to try to avoid feeding when she's tired, right? It's like fighting an uphill battle a little bit. So if we can organize our feed times after naps instead of before, we're doing well. That's optimal. Then she'll be well rested, she'll take great feeds, she'll break that association between the two, and all will be well. Into the crib she's going to go after your kiss, and we will keep going with the stay in the room method just like we did last night with night 1. Chair is right by the crib. You are trying your key phrases, you are trying some careful touch, and you're in there until she falls asleep. Now, I will give you a little let's get out of this card to play if things don't go well. But I just want to talk about darkness first. Dark, it should be dark in there. And I mean dark, like can't see in front of my face kind of dark. And that's hard in the daylight. So get blackout blinds, get black blankets, tape them to the window. It doesn't have to be pretty, but it needs to be dark. We want to encourage a good solid nap length, and darkness will help with that. All right, so we're sitting there and it's dark and we're saying our key phrase and we're doing some careful touch, and she's not having any of this. She is crying and crying and crying, and this is going on for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Okay, watch the clock, because 5 minutes of crying can feel like 1 hour and 10 minutes, pretty quick. So watch the clock. If 1 hour and 10, this is worst case scenario, but if 1 hour and 10 minutes goes by and she has not closed her eyes at all, we're taking a break. You get her up out of the crib, you leave the room. If it's legitimately time to feed her now, which it probably is given this age range, go ahead and give her a feed. Try your best to keep her awake through that feed. Maybe look around the house a little bit, go pet the dog. After about 20 to 30 minutes of break time, we go back to the room and try again in the crib for another 30 minutes. Okay, round 2, let's call it. More often than not, if it goes to round 2, it's quickly into round 2 where baby falls asleep, because she's pretty darn tired by this point. If in a very worst case scenario, she doesn't. She's not having it again. She's in there for another 30 minutes and not slept at all. Now we go to nap emergency. And nap emergency means you load her up in the car or the stroller and you leave the house. You go for a walk or a ride. The motion will put her to sleep. Even if you're saying, oh, she hates the car seat, she doesn't sleep in the stroller, she will. now because she's so fatigued that the motion is just going to knock her out. She might cry hard first, but she will fall asleep in that stroller or car, and we'll call that nap. If there's time for another nap in the day by this point, again, watching that time awake window, put her down for another nap and try the same process again. Okay, if that doesn't work, then we go for a second emergency nap of the day. And then we start fresh with our bedtime routine and keep going with the night piece. The big difference is you can do this for naps, taking the break, going to nap emergency if necessary, but you cannot do this at night. At night, we're in it till we win it, till she falls asleep in that crib. That's a big difference you need to keep in mind. All right, so that's how you move into day one. Chair in the room, careful touch, hour and 10, break, 30 minutes more. If not, we go to emergency nap. We'll put this all in the tips for you so you can follow along. And we'll talk about what to do if the nap's not long enough. But for now, just do a victory dance if she falls asleep in that crib. Even if it's only for 10 minutes, it's a start, right? This is a good start. And so celebrate it, congratulate yourself, and keep going with night 2. See you tomorrow.